Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Cindy. It's good to see you. Did you have a good week this week? Do you realize that, oh my God, I'm going to be driving to Kansas City in less than 2 weeks. Am I ready? I don't know. I don't know. And then the week after that is the Everything Embroidery Market. I'll be there too. Oh, oh. So yeah, things are a little frantic. Woody, good morning. Jesse, good morning to you too. Oh, but we're not going to worry ourselves about what's happening in 2 weeks. We're going to focus on right now, today. And today, we're going to talk about mixed media. Mixed media, busy week next week. Oh, yeah. Cindy's got a busy week. She leaves on Thursday to go to the So Magical Bag making show. Oh, nice. That should be fun. You'll have to show us all of your new creations. Okay, so we're going to talk about mixed media with regard to embroidery. We all do our embroidery. Um, we'll embroider, beautiful jacket back floral arrangements or simple um, book bags are a real popular piece. Um, but what if we wanted to mix it up a little bit? We love our embroidery, but what if we want to embellish it a bit? And that's what we're going to talk about today. In fact, let's start with applique. Applique, which is a general embroidery technique, something that I'm sure all of us have done. It's using another layer of fabric to add color or dimension to to the project. Usually, you have a placement stitch. You lay the fabric over the top, and you tack it into place, and then you put a satin stitch or some sort of stitch to hold that fabric down. This particular project, I took that same concept, and instead of using a stitch to hold the fabric in place along the edge, I used a fill stitch to add to the design file. Want to see? I know you want to see, don't you? Now this one I took off my wall. I have a wall that I keep my favorite pieces on. This is one of my favorite pieces. Can you see that? Yeah. She's actually the daughter of my best friend, and I took a picture of her and I created the silhouette, and then I used the fabric to lay in the color, and then used all this black here. No, that's fabric, Jade. Yeah, that's fabric. Not stitches. The only stitches on this project are the black bill. Yeah, that is a technique, an applique technique that I used to create this particular file. Yeah. And again, that's a mixed media. There are three fabrics here. There's the base fabric. That's okay. Thank you. Yeah, I wanted to find a fabric that would give her uh, a flesh tone, but still be a fabric and not be uh, just a solid flesh tone. Um, Besides, that's what I had in my stash. We all have our fabric stashes. So yes, this is an applique technique. I had the placement stitches. I placed the fabric. I trimmed away the excess. I had another placement stitch. I placed more fabric. I tacked it down. I trimmed away the excess. And then I used the black fill to give the definition and finish off the project. That is a mixed media. Now, how did I do that? Well, this particular piece was a digitizing piece, but I want to show you a couple of other things. Um, this one, this applique face, yeah, you'll need to be able to digitize um, the black area. But listen, I want to talk to you about doing mixed media with stock designs. Yeah, you can do that. Yes, you can. And we've all sunrise. Show us the back. Oh, you want to see the back? I don't trim the back, but I'll show it to you. Yeah, all of that's just jump threading from any place where the black breaks away. So yeah, is that what you want to see? Did you get it? Um, we have a new face here. We have a couple of new faces. Just let me just say right now, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to pop them in there and I will address them as soon as I see them. And I do look often. Okay, so mixed media. And I want to talk to you about taking your stock designs, digitized design files that you have purchased and add your embellishments. Let's see. Kathleen, so the black is fill stitches. No, you're right. Yes, Kathleen, the black is embroidered fill stitches, tatami stitches. Um, that is what is covering in your traditional applique. You have your fabric will leave a raw edge. I use the black fill stitches to cover those raw edges of fabric instead of using a blanket stitch or a satin stitch. Okay, so to do this next part, I'm going to work in my Embrilliance software. Embrilliance has a module. Thank you, Kathleen. Kathleen likes my work. Yeah, thanks. Sorry. I'm going to use my Embrilliance software. Embrilliance has a module that will allow you to bring in stock designs and mix them. You can bring in multiple designs. I'm going to bring up my screen now. Alrighty. So, and just as an example of how to do this, if you go to File, you can open a file. And of course, I've got my prep work here. Let me see, where do I want to be? And if I go to my embroidery designs, we'll just pull one out here. I can bring in that embroidery design, and then I can go back. Oops, cancel. We don't want to do that. We want to merge, which means we're going to bring in a second stitch file. And we're going to go up. Oh, fudge. I know you guys are great. You're so patient with me. I appreciate it so much. Let's see. Embroidery designs. Oh, here. All right. So it'll allow you to bring in multiple design files and then arrange them. Of course, we want that all the way to the bottom, so we're going to move it to last. And then you can also, turn it, do your edits, and create a new design. Well, that's what we're going to do here with our Embrilliance. The first thing I want to show you, and this is, and I tried to try to give credit here. This is a Holly Pike design. I've got it. I used to apprentice for her when I first started learning to digitize. So a lot of my design files are from Holly Pike, and you can Google her. She's still out there. Um, but this particular design, I brought it up because if we, of course, I have to be on the right screen to do this. If we bring it in, we'll take the 3D off. You can see all these curved stitches here, all these background stitches. This would be a perfect design file to put Mylar with it. You would hoop your project, you would lay your sheet of Mylar, and then you would stitch. And what would happen is the stitches would hold the Mylar in place. And Mylar is very sturdy. You'd be surprised. It can handle a wash. So you could easily put the Mylar in place, stitch it in a wash and wear garment. And just so you know, all of these butterflies in her series, they stitch out beautifully. I like Mylar too. I love Mylar. It gives some sparkle and reflects the lights. Now, this next one is also a Holly Pike design file. Oops. And the reason I chose it, can you imagine putting this on a shirt front for yourself, for a granddaughter, your daughter? Can you imagine putting this on a shirt front and then using heat applied crystals or rhinestones? Everywhere there's a little circle swirl, put a rhinestone. Again, mixed media. We have our embroidery on our shirt front, but we've added sparkle to it. We've added rhinestones. You could use a rhinestone that color matches the thread. You could use a clear. It'll look great. You'll love it. Here's another one. Cindy, you're absolutely right. If you don't like to sew with metallic thread, and depending on your metallics, it can be the tensioning and the breaking and just all the fuss. Mylar gives an awesome look without all the fuss of a metallic thread. Okay, so here's this next one. How many of you have one of those home cutting machines? The Silhouette, the Cricut, Brothers Scan and Cut, and then of course there's the industrial ones. One moment, please. These design files, and I'm going to do something here real quick. These design files came from Embroidery Library. Just cute little, and I went specifically looking for something with a curved, kind of, Kathleen. Kathleen wants to know if you would use Mylar like an applique. Kind of. In our previous applique that I showed you, there was a big, massive open space of open fabric. Mylar, you could put that there, but the Mylar would not stay. Because you punctured all of the outside edges, it would pop off because you perforated like paper. If you perforate paper, it'll tear away. What holds Mylar in place, I'm using my hands to talk here. What holds Mylar in place are all the stitches, okay? your stitches are about 4 millimeters. So every 4 millimeters is an anchor to the mylar, and that's what holds it in place. So using a design file like this butterfly that has, like this butterfly, that has a set of stitches in the fill, it's an open fill, but it's still a fill, would hold the mylar in place. You want to, if you want to use mylar, you want to find an open, dense, you want to find a design file that is open. Yes, you could use mylar with a fully filled design file, but you'll only see bits of the mylar. And the whole sparkle, the whole reason of doing mylar is to see more of it. Kathleen, does that help? Does that help you understand how to use mylar or when to use mylar? Just let me know. I'll watch for the answer. So again, going back to these two file designs, I chose them because they had a more open look. And if I needed to, you're welcome, Kathleen. If I needed to, I could shrink them down a little bit because that's another thing that I can do with my Brilliance Essentials. Come along, little doggy. Oh, I know why it won't. I'm in the wrong mode here. All right. I can turn it. I can size it a little bit. Remember when you resize a machine file, a stock file. Good morning, Lisa. Lisa Shaw, good morning. When you resize a stock file, you need to know that a lot of times the stitches will not change. The stitch count will not change. The stitches will get smaller or larger depending on which direction you go. Now, again, with the Embroidiance modules, there is an editing module that'll allow you to make some edits with that. But we're using Essentials today. Let's see if I can take this all the way back to where I was. All right. And what I did here, I wanted to, what did I want to do? I want to show you my design, my artwork. I wanted to mix, glitter vinyl, heat transfer vinyl in a glitter with the embroidery. But I needed to know where the pieces were going to go. So I found the silhouette that I wanted to use. And we know that we can take this into our home cutting machine software and it will create the cut lines for this piece, for the deer head, right? We can then take that cutout piece and we'll heat transfer it to our project. Again, maybe a shirt front or a jacket back, depending on your size. But we're going to bring the artwork into our Embrilliance and we're going to lay it in there so that we can determine and lay in the artwork. Oh, fudge. Let's lock this puppy up. Lock. Did I lock it? Yes, I did. So we can take it and we can lay in our design files where we want them to stitch. All right. Once we've heat transferred our vinyl where we want it located, we're going to save this design file without the image because the image isn't going to stitch. But what it does is it allows us for our placement. Then we can take this to our machine, load it up, place it. Let me step back. Oh, it's a fun one, Lisa. Do it. I love the idea. Lisa was just saying that she's going to try to replicate the project for one of her classes that she's got coming up, the Everything Embroidery Market, the first weekend of March in Lafayette, Louisiana. I'll be there myself. Um, Again, just a heat transfer glitter vinyl. You heat transfer it to the shirt or to the garment that you want to use it on. You load that onto your embroidery machine. The design files are in place based on your artwork that you placed in there. You're going to save the design file to your thumb drive because remember, we took our embroiderings and we merged in two different files to place over our cutout. And we'll take that and we'll place it in the machine, set up the colors, and it will stitch. I'm going to bring back our picture. It will stitch over our vinyl cutout exactly where we placed it. Again, mixed media. Don't think that when you're doing machine embroidery, you have to stick with strictly thread. There is so much. I've got another one I want to show you. You ready? Now, this one I didn't do myself, but I saw it and I talked to both the people involved and they said, "Sure, go for it." Look at this. Do you know what this is? These are freestanding lace earring with sublimation. I know Lisa saw this the other day. She got all excited. Yeah. So Jeff Fuller of Fuller Embroidery Works digitized the hearts. And because they were stitched with polyester, and we all know that sublimation loves loves polyester. Nikki took the stitch outs and then she took and found some cute little floral pieces and sublimated over the top of the polyester. So now instead of having just a plain earring of thread, could be any color, but of course she used white so that the colors of her sublimation would work. She sublimated on the white, and now you have daisies. And I'm not quite sure what this other flower is, but it's pretty, very pretty. So, what are some of your ideas? What are some of the ideas that you have for mixed media? And remember, it doesn't have to be just fabric and thread. What other craft type items do you use that we can put with embroidery? Or you're not sure. So go ahead and throw it out there and let's brainstorm and try to figure out what to do with it. Excuse me a moment. Monograms would be cute on sublimation. Yes. Can you imagine? Again, front, jacket back, um, anything that you're decorating, book bags, uh, reading pillows. You sublimate a picture. Say it's the grandkids. Something. Oh, quilt blocks. Quilt blocks. If you had a picture, you could sublimate it on your quilt block, and then in the center of it, put the monogram of the person who's being represented in that picture. Let's see, what else have we got? We've got our cutting machines. Oh, laser. I know there's a lot of laser cutters out there now. What can we do with laser cutters with embroidery? Any ideas? I'm not familiar with laser cutters. I just know they're out there. So how can we use that in a mixed media situation? Did you know that you can embroider on wood? You can. Needs to be thin, needs to be a lightweight wood. Um, balsa wood. Oh, Mike, hi. Mike has got some ideas. Cork, leather. Oh, gosh. Here, we're going to start up here. Mike says you can laser cut different unconventional materials for applique. Yep, leather, automotive vinyl. Yeah, I heart you too, Mike. I love to see someone who to burn out velvet with a laser. Oh, that would be pretty. What you can use it like a plot cutter. Laser takes a vector file and cuts an outline in an object. I was thinking, oh, Barb, are you here? Good morning. Good morning. So I was thinking um, to laser cut a piece of balsa, right? You could even do a little wood burning in it, and then accent it with thread and stitch it on like I don't know, a tote, something that can handle the heavier wood and still um, and not not uh, catch or snag or anything. Something that's like a daily use item that isn't going to get a lot of hard use. Does that make sense? So what other craft items are out there? And I know I'm using the word craft, but in our industry, in we can bring it all together. Um, direct to garment fill or printing could do. Let's see. Woody says most artwork we're honored to use is way too delicate for traditional embroidery, but it's so beautiful. I had to figure something out to use it with embroidery, and I love it. Oh, 3D printer. 3D printer. What can we do? How can we mix a 3D printer with with embroidery? Think on it. Lisa has an idea here. Chanel yarn is hitting big. I've seen a lot of that. People are creating a word using a running stitch, and then they're laying in the Chanel yarn. They're laying in the Chanel yarn to follow that running stitch, and it gives you a nice fuzzy piece. Um, gosh, I wish I had a picture. Let me go back here. Oh, I see. Thanks, Woody. Woody did a little clarification for me. The message that I read from him just now is actually a second part to this first part. We've been subbing patches and embroidering them with the fuller embroider, cut the patch with the laser, combining our process. There are, and that's where the next comment. Most artwork is too detailed for traditional embroidery, but it's also beautiful. Had to figure out a way to make it work. And that's exactly right. If you have a patch that the artwork is extremely detailed, but your customer wants that patch, how do you get all that detail on a round little square? Well, you sublimate it. Or you can use a direct to garment transfer or direct to film transfer, white toner transfer, something that actually takes and gives you a full color print that you can lay over the patch base and press into place. So now you've transferred all that ink onto the fabric, and then you finish it off with a patch border. In Brilliance has the Merrily um, Jeff of Fuller Embroidery Works will do a custom foam marrow stitch. Let's see, what else have we got here? Barb, embroider a screen, and then make a frame from the copper looking 3D filament. Rivet the frame around the embroidery for a tote or to hang. That that is beautiful. That is beautiful. Do you guys understand what she's saying? Window screening used to be back 100 years ago that it was actually made with a weave of metal. Well, now it's not metal. It's like a nylon mesh. But you could embroider on that nylon mesh and then stretch it in a frame, create a frame using your 3D. You could rivet that frame around on a tote or hang it. That is a wonderful idea. Picture canvas, same kind of, oh, you guys are just hitting it. Um, Again, your print transfer, your full color print transfer, which is a whole lot easier to do than screen printing, and you can do it at home. Full color print transfer, iron it onto the canvas, and then you can use that canvas, that print, to bring it into your software and lay in your embroidery designs, much like we did with our deer head. Where'd our deer head go? Much like we did with our deer head, only now it's in color. All right. It's a full color and we've added some embroidery to it. Awesome. Oh yeah. This one, Barb, I love this one. I back 100 years ago when I started, I used this as a marketing technique. I used cardstock and embroidered on the cardstock to send out invitations to people to see my work. Yep, we did. We were talking earlier, Barb, about adding rhinestones to our mermaid. Yeah, wouldn't that be fun? You know, maybe a dark blue shirt with a white mermaid stitched with the rhinestones. You guys are just you got it covered. That is mixed media, taking two or more different techniques and putting them together to make one beautiful piece of artwork. So, oh, embroidered lace for heirloom sewing or bridal wear. I know. Beautiful. Beautiful. So, that's mixed media. I hope you guys found this fun. I would love to see some of your mixed media posts. Send it. You can either post it in the comments, Facebook page, or you can post them on my YouTube. But I would love to see what you're doing with mixed media. Now, next week, let me just double check with my calendar. Double check with my calendar. Come along, calendar. All right. Next week, oh my goodness. Okay. I have 2 weeks before I drive. No, I don't. I have next week, and then the following week, I drive to Kansas City for DAX in Kansas City. And then the week after that, I go to uh, Louisiana. So next week we'll have a show. The next 2 weeks after that, I'm going to try to do a live presentation at the show. Keep your fingers crossed. But in the meantime, you guys have a great week. Do some mixed media. Show me what you got. And we'll do this again. I promise. We'll see you. Wasn't that fun? Do you have more questions? Do you want to learn something new? Join me at quicktostitch.com for coffee and conversation, and we'll talk about it. Embroidery machines, designs, and business. Hope to see you soon. Bye now.